So I've made it through the scene, even with taking a pretty long break. It really didn't take me that long to do just a first pass on getting the tone and the transitions and the fades and everything right. So now what I'd like to do is make all these tracks to where we can see them all. I'm going to bring up Hewlett loudness meter. So let's just play it back and see where it's sitting.
You should have seen that French fuck's face explode.
Come on, Jack, pick up.
You're playing with fire. Hello?
It's me, Kitty.
Fuck the French.
Alex is gonna kill me if he finds out. I called Ranucci to make a deal.
Oh,
I did it for my baby.
Calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down. I got the heroin.
You got what?
The heroin.
Who else knows?
Eddie and now Ranucci.
Just bring it down here.
Where's Alex?
Let Jackie take care of it.
Another hoe crying about an abortion?
Yeah, something like that.
French Jack will get you high tonight.
Get the fuck out of here. I got business to handle.
What about dropping the money off?
That's tomorrow.
I could watch it, keep guard.
I got my muscle watching it all night long. Besides, I don't want junkies watching my cash.
Like you don't use.
Not crack. That shit'll kill you.
I'm fucking going. You have a good night, Jack.
Get out of here, fucking junkie.
All right, there's a couple markers I left. The overall levels are minus 25, so I think that's fine. I'll probably go through and clip gain things a little bit more. This phone call here felt a little low, but it's also, it's not so far off that, you know, you couldn't just grab a fader and bring it up in the mix. So let's just go through and hit these spots. Here, as it was playing after it played through this line, I brought it down.
Another hoe crying about an abortion?
Yeah, something like that.
So that feels better.
French?
Is this out of sync?
Yeah, something like that.
That's out of sync. That's so far out of sync. So I'm going to highlight these. I'm going to hit control and I'm going to hit plus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll just see if that looks better.
Abortion?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Something like that.
So it's 2 frames too far.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Yeah, something like that.
And it just comes with experience seeing that. Okay, so let's see.
Yeah, something like that.
It's really tough to tell because there's no P's or B's.
Yeah, something like that.
There is a little sound when his back hits the chair, so let's see. Where do his shoulders stop moving? They stop moving right there. So let's try moving it 1 frame back. This will be 2 frames.
Yeah, something like that.
That seems pretty good.
Yeah, something like that.
French Jack?
Sometimes sync will drive you nuts and you think you got it and then you watch again. It's like, what was I thinking? That's still so far out. So I'm going to put a pin in this and say, you know, it's better. And then I dropped another marker here for this shot.
Like you don't use.
Like you don't use. Some people just look out of sync and they're not. I'll try going the other way. 2 frames.
Like you don't use.
Yeah, I think it's just the way he says it.
Like you don't use.
Not crack. That shit'll kill you.
So still good to check. So other than that, I think it's in pretty good shape as far as fill, fade. I did want to bring up this phone call a little bit. This part right here. Oh, the other thing I messed up is I put French Jack's line on the same futz track as Kitty's, and you don't want that. You might have different settings for his, and it also just shows you, hey, this is a different person.
Hello?
It's me, Kitty.
Fuck the French.
Alex is gonna kill me.
Okay, the first pass of the dialogue edit on this scene is finished, and we're ready to really drill down on some of the noises that we weren't able to get out with just pasting in room tone. What I'll do is I'll go through the whole feature and do this. Fill, clip gain, do all the room tone stuff that I need to do. Then I'll take all these tracks, shift, option, click, and duplicate them. And I'm actually going to batch rename these. We're going to trim 2 from the end, and we're going to add the suffix OG. So I've duplicated those playlists and I've named them .og, not for original gangster, but for original. That way, whatever I do destructively on here with any processing, there's a way to get back to it. Some mixers do not like playlist, so check with your mixer if you're not mixing it. What'll happen with playlist is when they drag your tracks into their mix session and they don't know there's playlists, none of that stuff goes over, so it's just lost. But these ticks here, you could use a declicker and you could just totally shit all over this audio and make it sound really processed, and we're not going to do that. We're going to do this the careful, correct way. You can see these ticks right here. It's this high stuff. I don't know what it is, but we're going to get rid of it. There's a couple ways to do this. I should show you my preferred way of doing it. So you could do spectral repair, you could do declick. All those things will add some very subtle artifacts. Since I don't want to do that, I'm going to copy and paste. So I'm going to hit Command-C in iZotope and copy this, which is free of any clicks. And then I'm just going to do this. And Shift-Option-V to fill paste in iZotope. Shift-Option-V, Shift-Option-V, same. So it does take more time than just highlighting it. This here is a good click. It's different frequency profile, so I'm going to leave that. And then there's one here. This has some extra schmutz around it, and I want to keep the schmutz. So I'm actually going to use declick on this one. So it still left a little bit. When I do use the declicker, I'll just highlight the section that I need. Make sure the frequency skew's set. And then these should actually be down. It's set to random clicks. Because I don't want to process the good audio. It didn't get this one, so I'm going to do Command-6 and spectral repair that, which it did too much. That's why the strength is way up. And let's do vertical. Okay, what you don't want is to create a hole. This one here, I'm going to try grabbing some longer tone. Cuts off the tail of that. We don't want that. There's a little bit of a hole there, so I'm going to bring the strength down. That's probably good. It doesn't have to be squeaky clean. And for when I use connect, I will just use usually I have this set to continuous file. It kind of does the same thing. I don't mind if it bakes in the fade, because I just don't want to have a bunch of handles on either side. So that's fine. For this rumble on the dialing, I could make the decision to take care of this in the edit and remove it, but I'm going to save that for the mix because it might be fine, it might be good, it might add something that the backgrounds aren't adding, or the mixer might have it rolled off so high that it doesn't, it's not really that bad. But I don't want to make that decision until I get all the other tracks in. There's a little junk here I forgot to delete. I'll take care of that. Okay, so here's our first obvious. There's, at the end of this breath, some crackles. Instead of grabbing the whole file, I just highlight what I need to take care of and use the most conservative settings. So I'm going to do create individual files, clip by clip, sensitivity down to about 2, and then set the frequency skew high. Take that widening down, and we want to get rid of all those cracklies. So let's see what happens. There's still a little bit there. Now, when you're processing stuff, instead of doing one heavy-handed process, do several light-handed processes. It's just like carving out of like stone or wood. You don't just take a hacksaw and bam, it's done. So I'm going to do the same thing. Set the reduction strength on derussell down pretty low. Problem with derussell is it does take out a lot of breath. So I'm going to try, if that doesn't work, decrackle. So quality set to high, strength set down low, amplitude skew, we want to set this down low because it's going to be looking for lower level signals. There's still a tiny bit in there, but with everything, it's fine. Okay, now we've got some mouth clicks here on this track. Instead of just taking out every click, you always go back to story drives every decision. Are they good clicks? Are they bad clicks? You don't just have to take every click out of the entire movie. I would say that's him. That could be him swallowing. That could be Alex swallowing off camera. I'm going to leave him in. And if I need to take him out, it's super easy. But by taking all that stuff out and just making squeaky clean tracks, on indie films especially, you're taking out a lot of texture. And the global effect of doing that is it just sounds sterile. It sounds fake.
You should have seen that French fuck's face.
Now here, there's a little bit
You should have seen.
of dolly noise.
You should have seen that. You should have seen that French fuck's.
So I'm going to mark this for an alt. Here's take 2. So bring that up. Let's see what he says.
You should have seen that French fuck's face explode.
Sounds real close performance-wise. And we just need the beginning part of it.
You should have seen that French.
There's a little in there too.
You should have seen that French.
So F's and S's are great spots to cut because you don't have to do much. They just work.
You should have seen that French fuck's face explode. You should have seen that French fuck's face explode.
It's a slight tone difference, which I might want to split it out to a different track.
You should have seen that French fuck's face explode.
But I think I'm going to leave it there.
You should.
Just bring it up 2 dB.
You should have seen that French fuck's face explode. And,
very important, label it. Alt. You can also color code it if you really want to. So I will go to clips and tracks and I will set this to whatever I want. That way, if the director's like, that's not how he said it, then you can say, you know what, you're totally right. Or the mixer can, and go back to the original, which if you want to do extracts, if you really want to do things by the book, extract. So this is where you put your garbage. So you might probably want to preserve your edits and everything. Some mixers really like it if you just drag the whole region up there because they don't want to be editing. It's like an old Union thing. So you can do that and put it back to your original edit. You could also, I forgot I had my OGs over here that I could go back to, and then just make this inactive. Extracts are garbage tracks or tracks that you don't want to use. Some mixers also want alt tracks where you put your alts so they know for sure. Always check with the mixer. I like things to just be as few tracks as I need for the mix.
You should have seen that French fuck's face explode.
Come on, Jack, pick up.
So this needs to be clip gain up.
Explode.
Come on, Jack, pick up.
And there's some...
Come on, Jack, pick up.
It's a little bit of a plosive.
Jack, pick up. Jack, pick up.
Connect. So I'm just highlighting the frequencies I want to dice out, and I'm doing Command 6 for spectral repair.
Pick up. Jack, pick up.
Oh, it's actually this right here.
Up. Jack, pick up. Jack, pick up.
It's better.
You're playing with fire.
Make sure I have a fade on this.
Hello?
It's me, Kitty.
Fuck the French.
Alex is gonna kill me if he finds out. I called Renucci to make a deal. I
take
did
it.
it for my baby.
Calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down. I got the heroin.
You got what?
The heroin.
Okay, so this,
What?
I had this marked for an alt. I could use Sound Miner or Soundly or Audio Finder. There's all kinds of apps. So I'm just going to find it in Finder. So I'll go where the production sound is, and I need to find 103 in production sound folder. Now, this production sound is split up into individual wave files, which actually ain't bad because I can just grab the boom. Let's look at take 3. They only did 4 takes. This happens on indie films a lot too. They don't do a lot of takes.
Calm down. You got what?
Perfect. That's actually a great alt.
You got what? You got what?
It's not in sync, but let's figure out exactly where that...
What?
What? Might be able to cut it on the W.
Got what?
Heroin.
You got what?
It's a little too quick, so we'll move it over a frame.
You got what?
And then slide the edit.
You got what?
The-
Got what? Got what? Got what?
We are at subframe level on where we want this edit to happen.
What? 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 What?
All right. I usually try to put the edit in the valley of the file, but sometimes it works better to put it in the middle. It's pretty rare. We'll do equal gain just to bring that pop down.
You got what?
The heroin.
And that's pretty seamless. So let me label this as an alt. And since I did the other region light blue, I'll do the same.
You got what?
The heroin.
And I have to make sure that I go back here.
Got what?
The heroin.
I'm gonna do this because I don't want the mixer getting all pissed off at me. Slightly lazy, but
Heroin.
You got what?
The heroin.
Who else knows?
Eddie and now Renucci.
Just bring it down here.
this is super nitpicky, but
Heroin.
Who
this breath cuts in the middle of his breath. And the trick to get that is just cut out the middle, slide it over. Breaths you can kind of cut wherever you want. I just don't like fading up in the middle of a breath.
Who else knows?
Eddie and
There,
now
so now you can hear his lips actually open.
Who else knows?
Eddie and now Renucci.
What about dropping the money off?
That's tomorrow.
I could watch it, keep guard.
There's some clicks in here.
I could watch it, keep guard.
And those clicks are his stubble on his collar. So I don't mind those. A lot of guys would probably go in and just nuke them all with a declicker. But I mean, it's part of the scene. It sounds real. It doesn't sound like a, like an error. And this is something that QC probably won't flag. I've really gone lighter on processing as I get older and tried to do more thinking about, is this a good sound or a bad sound? Does this hurt the story? Does it help the story? And to me, it's really important to just think along those lines.
You have a good night, Jack.
Okay, so here we've got some nasties to deal with.
I'm fucking going.
It's a little bit
I'm fucking going.
crispy before he says his F. And just because there could be some EQ that boosts that high frequency, I'm going to do a tiny bit of de-rustling, like there.
I'm fucking going.
And just processing the part that's bad, not the whole clip.
I'm fucking going.
It lowered this first syllable by a couple dB, so I'm bringing that back up.
I'm fucking going.
Now with everything.
I'm fucking going. You have a good night, Jack.
So this one's super disgusting nasty.
You have a good night, Jack.
I might have to just see what happens if I do the whole thing.
You have a good night, Jack.
Yeah, see, it just takes all the high frequency away. So when de-rustle or de-crackle can't handle it because it's too bad, I like to send it to RX Connect and do multiple passes. So I'm going to start with de-crackle, then I'll go for de-rustle. And I've got the ambience preservation down because this is broadband clothing noise, pretty much the full frequency spectrum. And this is bad enough where it's something like Cedar or the iZotope Dialog denoise will actually get it out even more in the mix. So I'm just going to do a little bit.
You have a good night, Jack.
I'm going to keep that sniff at the end.
You have a good night, Jack.
It's definitely better.
You have a good night, Jack.
Get out of here.
So I'll do a quick before and after.
You have a good night, Jack. You have a good night, Jack.
So it's a little bit processed sounding, but I can always go back to the original if I want to.
Get out of here, fucking junkie.
And his side,
Get out of here, fucking junkie.
French Jack side is fine. I don't need to do anything to that. All right, so we've made it through our second pass where we've done some destructive processing with iZotope and, found a couple alts, which is really nice. So I think at this point we can just watch the scene down and see how it plays. What I'm going to do is make this video full screen so that we're not distracted by the little colorful bits going by.
You should have seen that French fuck's face explode.
Come on, Jack, pick up.
You're playing with fire.
Hello?
It's me, Kitty.
Fuck the French.
Alex is gonna kill me if he finds out. I called Renucci to make a deal. I
take
did
it.
it for my baby.
Calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down. I got the heroin.
You got what?
The heroin.
Who else knows?
Eddie and now Renucci.
Just bring it down here.
Where's Alec?
Let Jackie take care of it.
Another hoe crying about an abortion.
Yeah, something like that.
French Jack will get you high tonight.
Get the fuck out of here. I got business to handle.
What about dropping the money off?
That's tomorrow.
I could watch it, keep guard.
I got my muscle watching it all night long. Besides, I don't want junkies watching my cash.
Like you don't use.
Not crack. That shit'll kill you.
I'm fucking going. You have a good night, Jack.
Get out of here, fucking junkie.
All right, it's pretty good. There's a few sounds I'm going to try to find from the production sound right at the beginning. And I missed them with the video being so small. Right there. His arm coming down. So we don't have that in the edit, but maybe this stuff. Nope. That's a dolly squeak. Oh, there it is. Bam. Cool thing about it being on a separate track is I can put it on PFX. It's one more win for the M&E. So syncing up this stuff, if they're shooting at a normal shutter speed and stuff's moving, it'll be blurry. Once it stops, that's the impact right there. Sometimes it'll be like, you know, not on the frame edge, but generally that's a pretty good spot to put it. Got it. Actually, let's hear what this sounds like in here. Because this up here, whatever this is, was put in by the editor. It's not the original sync audio. We actually have it now that we've put this hand bump in. I think that's better. Up until that dolly creak, which we got to get out of there. It should be pretty easy though. Just do that. Downside is not just that guy walking with his shoes, but that works. Cool. I'll just put a crossfade there. And other than that, I think the scene played back really well. There wasn't anything that really jumped out level-wise or cut-wise. There was still a little bit of grit and texture left in. It wasn't so sterilized that it, you know, felt like it had been cleaned to death. So at this point, I would say the dialogue edit for this scene is good enough to move on. I could spend a couple more hours on it, really going through and getting out every little tick. And if the film needed that, if it needed to sound super squeaky clean and polished, then I would do that. But for something like this that has a kind of gritty, natural feel, I like to leave as much of that stuff in as I can that fits the story. If that goes back to story drives every decision. So thank you guys for checking this out. Sorry this one was so long. There's a lot to cover with dialogue editing, and you know, I'm sure I left a bunch of stuff out. So if you want to know more, you can leave a comment below and I'll try to get back to you. And the other thing is, after I get through the whole process from blank session to final mix, I might circle back and go through more of like the nitty-gritty details of stuff, because I want this to be an overview where somebody can jump in if they haven't done this before and learn a lot, but not get so bogged down in the, you know, the super high level stuff that, you know, takes a lot of time to master. because then you just spend, days and days going over stuff that doesn't make as big of a difference. So a big thing with projects like this is going from 0% to 95% takes just as long as going from 95% to 100%. That extra 5% takes a ton of time and effort, and it's worth it on some projects if they're paying you right and it's, high quality, the story's worth that level of detail. But there's also the thing about, the mix doesn't really ever get finished. It just gets abandoned, and there's schedules to meet, and there's deadlines and expectations. So you have to balance all that stuff. And my goal with these is to not get you 100% of the way there, but to get you enough to where you've got enough skill to where you can do a really good job and just make your projects sound better. So the next episode will be going over sound effects, which are a lot more fun and a lot more creative than this boring dialogue stuff. So thank you guys for watching, and check back. Whenever I get some more time between projects, I will work on that next video. Thanks.